Continue the series of the great rabbis of yesteryear. Now, friends, we are on Chav Cheshvan, the 20th of Cheshvan, and it marks the Hilula of a really great Yemenite rabbi. His name was Rabbi Haim Hajabi Z'tl, one of the great rabbis from Yemen in 1800s and 1900s, respectively. He was born in English year 1865 and passed away in English year 1949. So he was approximately about 84 years of age at the time of passing. He would become one of the great rabbis of the Jewish community in Tימן, in itself, respectively. He was a rabbi, he was a great Kabbalist also, and much more can be related within regards to the Chacham. So let's explore some of the highlights of the great rabbi's life. So he actually came from great rabbinic auspices. His father's name was Rabbi Moshe Hajabi, who I think was named actually Rabbi Haim Hajabi. That was actually his name. He was born in English year 1865, and obviously Rabbi Moshe in the, I believe, the area in of itself, the Rovam Mahos, I think in the Kabbalan Tימן, if I'm not mistaken, in like say the main quarter in of itself of that specific area. And this family was a very great family, with full of Rabbanim and Talmidei Hachamim, very much from the Khajba, I think, area, that specific city in of itself. It's a really, really great family of scholars in of itself, and a famous one which I recommend everyone to learn about. Now, while he was young, he received a great Torah education, especially through auspices also of his father. He learned the Mishnah Torah, the Rambam, Halacha, Mishnah, Targum, Unklus, and the Menorot HaMaor, very, very great books in of itself, and very, very high level Torah learning. And then afterwards, I think his father sent him to the city of Sana'a, which had probably one of the most famous Yemenite Jewish places in of itself. And over there, he would learn under auspices of the great rabbis of that city in of itself. A fantastic sharpness and Torah learning, and excellent, let's say, characteristics of learning in of itself. Many of the great rabbis of the city saw how great and the potential that Rabbi Moshe Hajabi had in of himself. They knew that he was an Eloi, he was an expert in regards to Torah and the Kabbalah, and they were absolutely phenomenal. He was given rabbinic ordination, I think, at a young age, through the great Chachamim, let's just say, of Tzana'a in of itself. And he would receive, I think, Dayanot also, and he would be appointed as a rabbi of the specific place, this quarter in of itself. And the Rav Machoz Kabbalan, he would actually become appointed inside this vicinity as head of the Jewish court of Bet Din, and he'll be learning Dayanot, teaching Dayanot, teaching the rabbis of Tימן. Absolutely phenomenal position in of itself. I think he had a nickname actually called the Gemara, because he was like such an expert within regards to the Torah in of itself. And very much that was a phenomenal nickname, the Gemaran. And it's only given, this name was given to a few rabbis in this vicinity because of the exceptional knowledge of the Gemara he had. He actually supported the immigration to Israel. He very much did promote this. He saw this as, I believe, very, very important at that point in time. And we know that just a year after on the year he passed away, it was a year after the formation of Medinat Israel. He had close connection with the great Ashkenazi Rabbi Yaakov Sapir, who I think used to visit Tימן and paid the highest compliments with regards to Rabbi Hajabi, which has to be pointed out. And his name, in of itself, he was known as probably one of the great rabbis of Yemen. He was very, very famous all throughout the specific vicinity. And Rabbi Yaakov Sapir, I think, will actually mention Rabbi Haim Hajabi in his book, which is very interesting. Now, he learned a lot of Torah from his father, which we mentioned about before, the Torah of the Arizal. And very, very interesting. It's actually reported over, which is absolutely phenomenal, very, very well documented, I believe, that a malach, an angel, would actually appear to him and would teach him, let's just say, the Razim, the Sodot, Kamosim, B'Torah, B'Nigla, or B'Nistar, would teach him all the hidden depths of the teachings, hidden teachings of the Kabbalah in of itself. And he learned Kabbalah at a very great rate. He had very different Talmidim all over the specific vicinity, and many people spoke about the greatness within regards to the rabbi, the greatness of the learning, and the Holy Spirit, let's just say, and the miracles that actually occurred, and within regards to surrounding him. They say that his works on Kabbalah matters were shelved by himself, but because of the great sanctity of it, and much more can be said about him. Now, he would actually become the rabbi of the Kohlan district in Yemen. I think it was the town of Rabua, and also the rabbi of the district of Kalon. The Kalon district in itself was a very large district where there were several cities and settlements within it. And he would go around various towns and villages and taught and supervised various different rabbis and shochetz over there, kosher butchers in of themselves in this district, giving them the greatest education of himself. And there were very many vicinities within regards to that. He also, I believe, was a doctor, and he would be traveling around various different places to help within regards to healing people, and did a lot within regards to that. He wrote many of the, let's just say, teachings on the various different commentaries on the Torah in itself. He wrote commentaries, I think, within regards to Hilchot Shchita, and within regards, he was an expert within regards to animals and different parts of the animals, and various different halachic matters, let's just say, surrounding this. He served part of the rabbinate, I think, during the Turkish ruling period in Yemen, and also after the Turkish rule actually did finish. He dealt with a lot of the needs of the rabbis. He was very much a hands-on working with the rabbis of the community, which was the very highest level in of itself. And if, God forbid, there was troubles or difficulties, and he would help them. Very interesting. So he really was doing a huge amount of work in of itself, just in this specific city, in this specific vicinity, just helping many of the great rabbis. He wrote various treatises, as we stated before, within regards to the various different topics on halacha in of itself. And he did a lot of other work. They say actually he had a trade. He would work in a trade where he was also a carpenter. He was engaged in carpentry. So he'd learn and living according to the custom of the rabbis of Yemen. He helped within regards to saving orphan children, which has to be pointed out. Also, I think he actually did this in cooperation with another great rabbi, Rabbi Yitzchak HaLevi, who was one of the great rabbis also of Yemen, who we spoke about on various other occasions before. Now, it's actually interesting. He would actually make an aliyat to land of Israel. I think in Yeh Heitaf Shin Vav, he established organization, I think, by the Aden port in of itself. And I think this is at the time period where many other people would actually start making the waves of moves to the lands of Israel. And I think he instructed many of the people inside the quarter he was a rabbi of to actually move to the land of Israel, which is very interesting. And he gathered, I think, the Kehila in of itself, and many people would actually come. I think he would actually spend his last months in the land of Israel. He was very old at that point in time. And I think it was actually in Tishrei, in the Hebrew year, Tafshin Yud. He passed away, I think, a short time period afterwards in Israel. I think it happened to be on a Shabbat when he passed away. It was the 20th of Cheshvan, in Tafshin Yud. He was buried, I think, in the cemetery, the Beit Kvarot Sgula, in the city of Petach Tikva, which you have to point out. Also, so that's very interesting. So he passed away, as we stated before, I think in his 80s. He left a great legacy in of itself. He ordained many people to become great shochetz in of itself. Many people become mohels under his appointment in of his, and he had many great students and judges. He trained judges, he trained students. That was what he did. And the rabbis of Sana'a actually called him the Mara'a Datra, which was the highest compliment that he could pay. Now, there was a lot of great books that was actually, I think, authored in his memory, including the Chovarot Mipoalet Atzadik, which was basically the Toldot, the Chronicles, let's say, of Rabbi Haim Hajabi in of itself. I think this was a very great book, and had various different, I think it was printed in the Heitaf Shin Samach Zayin, I think in the month of Tishrei. Then the Sefer Zichron Teiman, which was, let's say, about the book with regards to the great rabbis of Teiman, especially during the 1700s, 1800s in itself, and and it also was standout from Rabbi Haim Hajabi as one of the great Rabbanim, and mentions very much within regards to that. And among his Talmidim included many great rabbis, and I think his son became a great rabbi, a Dayan. His name was Rabbi Moshe. Another one of his sons, Rabbi Haim Hajabi, was also had a great in of itself positions. He was, I think, a doctor also, and he was a great rabbi within regards to Kabbalah. Rab Chadayan Yosef Tanami, also we have to point out, his son-in-law was Rab Adayan Yechiel Shapira, very great rabbi in himself. He was a prominent shochet also, I think, in the city of Beersheba. And the Rav Shalom Nachshon shochet, he was also a mohel, and did a lot of kiddushin, a lot of chopot. Now he left great Torah books also, which you have to point out, including Kuntros, the great Torah, which is Perush of Torah, B'derech HaPardes, in the Mara, Habehima, V'Chalakia. This was various different birurim, let's just say, on Hilchot Shchita, and then there was a Kiddushim, or Baharot, which was a Ktav Yad, I think, a manuscript on the Torah in itself, a great Kuntros that was, I think, printed in Tימן, if I'm not mistaken. So he passed away at the age of 84 on Chav Cheshvan in the English year 1949, one of the great rabbis from Yemen in his day. Please, everyone, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, share the videos. We're a community here, and wishing you all well.